Alright guys, hello, this is Miss Kelly speaking. Barely, I have kind of lost my voice, if you cannot hear that. So I'm going to do my best here to get you guys through this warm-up. Try and stay quiet so that we don't have to turn up the video too loud. You should all be open to page 292 in your journals. So if you are not open to page 292, go ahead and get there now, please. We're going to look at numbers 7 and 8 for our warm-up today. Okay, again, if you are not on page 292, go ahead and get there. All right, we're going to start off here with number 7. 7 and 8, this is a review from 10.3, which we covered on Friday, and we are finding the radius of the circle. We learned a theorem on Friday that said if you have two chords in a circle, like CA and DF, that are congruent to each other, then they are equidistant from the center. So if CA and FD are our congruent chords, and then these pieces in the middle from the center, PB and PE, are going to be congruent as well. Okay, now step 1 in solving this problem was to solve for x. Okay, solving for x, you're going to take your two expressions, your 5x minus 2, and your 3x plus 2, and you're going to set them equal to each other. That's step 1. Okay, I'm going to take my 5x minus 2, set it equal to 3x plus 2, and I'm going to solve. And this is a quick one. Okay, when I solve this, I'm going to minus the 3x over, add 2, divide by 2, and I get x equals 2. Okay, that's step 1, solve for x. Step 2, if you don't remember, is to plug it in to one of your expressions. It does not matter which one, just pick one. So step 2, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. I choose 3x plus 2, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Give you guys a second to think about that. 3 times 2 plus 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay, now this one's a little bit different than the ones that we did in class. That 8 is giving you an entire chord. Okay, so like A all the way to C would be 8 units long. Now we want our radius here. So if you remember, we're going to set up this little right triangle up here. Here's our radius from P to C. We'll call that R. And we have now set up this little right triangle that we're going to do Pythagorean theorem on. But C to B is not 8. Okay, if you remember, C to B is half of 8. So C to B is only 4. So when you use your Pythagorean theorem to solve for R here, you have to make sure that you're using 4 instead of 8. And that's step 3. Step 3 is going to be your a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. So here we go. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals r squared. This is an easy one again. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. Square root that, and your radius equals 5. And that is your answer. All that work, and that is what they are looking for. Okay, you guys look at that for a second if you need to get that copied down, if you missed something. So step 1 is to always solve for x. Step 2 is to always plug in x and get a value for one of those segments. And step 3 is to use your Pythagorean theorem to solve for the radius. Okay, we are going to move on with number 8. It's the same thing, just looks a little bit different. This is actually more like the one from our notes. This one over here on the left, number 7, was a little bit different, but 8 is just like the notes. But again, same steps. Step 1 is to solve for x. So we're going to take that 4x minus 5 and set it equal to x plus 4. Four x minus 5, set it equal to x plus 4. And solve. Okay, I'm going to do this in one step here. Minus x over, add 5. I end up with 3x equals 9. Divide by 3, and I get x equals 3. Okay. Step 2 is the same step 2 as before. We plug in x into one of our expressions. It does not matter which one. I really hope not too many of you are laughing at me right now because I sound like an absolute man, but that's all right. I'm going to take that 3 and plug it in. I choose x plus 4. That seems to be the easier one. 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay. Now what you just found is segments OY and OZ. So I'm going to plug that in right here. Okay, these are the two pieces that you just found. I'm going to label that 7. Now, this piece right here that I just highlighted in green, again, that's half of your chord. So if your whole entire chord UV is 20, then that little piece UY is half of that, 10. I'm going to draw on this line. That's my radius. Oh, really, you can't see that? That's my radius from O to U. That's what I'm solving for. So step 3, now that I've created that little right triangle, I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem again. And I think we end up with a decimal on this one, and that's okay. All right, C is our R. A and B are the 10 and the 7. Ten squared is 100. 7 squared is 49. 100 plus 49 is 149. That's R squared. So to get R by itself, I'm grabbing my calculator. We undo a square by square rooting. Square root of 149 is about 12.2. And that is your actual answer. That is your radius. Okay. Let me move this for a second. There you guys go. If you need a second to copy all of that down. Okay. While you're writing, let's listen up for a second. For the rest of the day today, you guys have some homework to work on. You have a worksheet, but if you are not caught up on bookwork, please, please, please take the time to do so now. It's only been about 10 minutes of class so far, maybe 15 if you were grabbing your journals. So you have quite a bit of time left to work right now. Don't just sit here and do nothing. Okay, when I come back tomorrow, I'd like to see all of your book assignments completed, all of your worksheets completed. If you look over on the right marker board, you can see which people are still missing Chapter 9 folders. So please make sure that you get those turned in as well. Also, if there's anything from your folder or your journal that I did not mark off as you having and you know that you have it, just make sure you show me tomorrow. You guys have an absolutely awesome Monday. I will see you when I come back on Tuesday, hopefully with a much better voice. Have an awesome day, guys. Bye-bye.